Today is Doubting Thomas Sunday, and the hymn I'm going to discuss is We Walk by Faith and Not by Sight. 19th century text to a 20th century tune. The tune was composed by Gordon Slater in the 1920s. Originally, it appeared in a book called Songs of Praise for Boys and Girls. And in the English hymnal, it was sung to the words, "Jesu, the very thought of thee." This tune first appears in this country in our hymnal 1982. It's a beautiful tune, starting on the major triad of the chord. The natural harmonics of an open trumpet or a French horn, like a horn call. Let me play it through for you. Let me play it with the nice chords. Gordon Slater, who wrote the music, was organist of St. Botolph's Church in Boston, England. And St. Botolph was a 7th century abbot and saint, the patron saint of farmers and travelers. Boston, England, lent its name to our Boston, Massachusetts. And St. Botolph is the patron saint of Boston, Mass, as well as as Boston in England. And Botolph's town, that's where Boston comes from, Botolph's town. His name is also given as Botolph, as in Beowulf. Interesting. There's a St. Botolph Club, a men's club founded in 1880 in Boston, very important social high-class club, opened their doors to women in 1988. In fact, I stayed there one time visiting some friends at Harvard. So St. Botolph, it's interesting how these things all connect eventually. This is a beautiful tune. It's interesting, you know, a hymn tune, you think people just sit down and write it without any kind of conscious technique. Well, that's not true. There is such a thing as inspiration, but there's also such a thing as technique and structure. So we have, in this one, as I said, it starts on the triad, the three notes, the basic harmonic unit of Western civilization. And then we have that little melody, and then it comes later, and then a little bit later, and then at the end. Except at the end, it doesn't do that. It goes, and I've told the choir, people sing, they want to continue the sequence. So when they sing it, if you listen, the last phrase, the congregation will sing this. But they should be singing. Maybe you didn't hear that. Let me do it again. This is what was written. The second to the last note is different. Also, he breaks the rule of parallel motion right on that note. Instead of going, he does this. Now this is considered a defect in composition. If he wrote that for a composition teacher, such as Vaughan Williams, there'd be a red line there. But he did it, and it sounds beautiful. All right, that's We Walk by Faith and Not by Sight. This hymn tune is named The Call, which is the name of the poem by George Herbert. amazing English poet of the early 1600s, one of the metaphysical poets, along with John Donne, who was Dean of St. Paul's Cathedral. I'm sure that you will be told about the threefold structure of these three stanzas, a trinity of trinities, you might say. But musically, there's a Trinity theme also. It begins with the first three notes of the triad. The home chord, as I said about the other hymn, a basic unit of Western harmony. Then there's a little, here's the first phrase. Second phrase is a repeat of the first. Then we have the B theme. And then the B theme repeated. I'll repeat it as a second-rate composer would do it. But Vaughan Williams is not a second-rate composer. So he adds 6 notes in the middle of the second time of the second theme. If we had just that melody and gave it to a first-year harmony student, by the way, Ralph Vaughan Williams, the great English composer who lived from 1872 to 1958, his most famous piece was Fantasia on a Theme by Thomas Tallis. Anyway, he was interested in folk songs and in music of the 1600s in England, Tudor music. So anyway, here's let's suppose we had this fairly simple melody just with a first-year harmony student. But this is what Vaughan Williams did with this, and he didn't write it as a hymn tune. He wrote it as a solo for baritone and orchestra. It was one of his 5 mystical songs, 5 musical settings of 5 different poems by the great poet George Herbert. So here's what he did, and you'll hear the extra 6 notes in the repeat of the second theme. One of the great hymns, although not intended to be a hymn, of the 20th century. Vaughan Williams taught composition at the Royal College of Music. He spent a year, in 1932, he spent a year at Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania, here in this country. Vaughan Williams was a great force in the hymnal, the English hymnal, and by extension, the American hymnals. He was born in Down Ampney, another great hymn that he called by his hometown. What a tremendous momentum of treasure we have from this English tradition of hymns.